All right, let's go ahead and take a look at question number 4. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing. Let's highlight all the domains in yellow. And let's highlight all of the range in orange. So looking at this part right here, what are your domains? Okay, this is going a little bit crazy. That's okay. We'll just change my colors. Okay, my domains are going to be the part in yellow. So they will be -4, -2, 0, 2, and 4. And then my range will be 8, 4, 1, 4, 8. Now, to determine if something is 1 to 1, the x cannot repeat. And as we established in the last example, we said, yes, this is a function because the x doesn't repeat. If you take a look at the domain for question number 4, yes, it is a function, again, because the domain does not repeat. So we have a lot of functions or one-to-one functions. Now let's take a look at question number 5, okay? So question number 5, if you see the 2 right here that's being split apart, what that means is your domain, which is going to be the first one here, first rectangle, that means -2 is being used twice, which means it is repeating. So then in addition to -2, your domain is going to be 0, 1, and 3. Your range are going to be everything in the second rectangle. So that's going to be a -3, 1, and if you look at the little arrow here that's pointing at 1, you see how there's 2 arrows pointing at it? That means there's going to be 2 1s, 3, and 4. Well, looking at this part here, is my domain repeating? Yes, it is. So is it a function? No, not a function for question number 4. And that could be a little bit deceiving, so just be careful. I know you guys are all smart, so I'm sure you'll be just fine. All right, now let's take a look at question number 6. This is the vertical line test. If I draw a straight line, you see how it only touches the graph at that one point? Well, let's draw another line. Once again, it only touches this graph at one point. Let's draw another line. Only touches this graph at one point. Because it only touches the graph one time, I mean x does not repeat, which means yes, it is a function. Now I'm sure you're thinking like, well, what will make this not a function? If this is my graph, because it is a circle, and if I draw a straight line, you see how it touches it twice? So for this one, it is not a function. All right, explain how the vertical line test proved that a relation is not a function. So what you can say here is you can say something to the fact that if the vertical line touches the graph at one point, then it's a function. If the vertical line test touches the graph 2 or more times, what that indicates is that the x value repeats, which means it is not a function. All right, so those are the questions to your homework. So let's now take a look at your quiz that you guys took. So question number 1, identify the domain and range. And if you take a look at this, the questions are very similar to your homework and also the examples we go over in class. So here we go. X is going to be your domain, and X are going to be the number that I am boxing right now. So -5, -2, 1, and 5. Range is Y. So range is going to be the numbers I'm boxing in green. That's going to be 10, 11, 4, and 10. Is this a function? Yes, it is, because you do not have no x values repeating. So therefore, it is a function. Question number 2. Which of these statements best describe the relation shown to the item 1? Well, we just kind of answered it. You can just say it is 1-to-1. Which relations are functions? Select all that apply. So you want to be very careful with questions like this. Generally, when it says select all that applies, what that means is there is more than one correct answer. So you have to probably select 2 or more correct answers. So which one is a function? Function means the x is not going to repeat. So let's take a look at A. 3, -1, -3, 0, 2. Yep, that's one of the answers. This one is a function. Now let's take a look at B. You see how B, you have 4 or -4 twice with the sharing. So that means your domain is -4, -4 twice. So in this case, it is repeating, so it's not a function. So we're not going to select B. Let's take a look at C. With C, you see that it's 1, 2, 3, 4 for the domain. It's not repeating. So therefore, it is a function. So you want to circle C as well. And then for D, you have to be a little bit careful with the dots. If I were to look at this and I draw a line here, well, it only touches 1 dot. So far it's a function. But then if I draw a line here at x equals 2, what that means is that it is repeating x equals 2. And actually that's at x equals 1. It looks like a 2 because they're so tiny, but it's at 1. And so 1 is repeating. Now, at the same time, if I were to draw a line here at 3, you see how it's repeating? So that means my domain includes 2 1s and 2 3s. So it's not a function because the x is repeating. So my only answers that I will be using are A and C for number 3. Question number 8, at a summer camp, 6-year-olds are in group A, 7-year-olds are in group B, and 8-year-olds are in group C. Is the group assignment a function of age? If so, is the function 1-to-1? It will be because A's are only going to be group 6s. And then actually, you know what? I'm sorry. They are not. And the reason for that is because group A, they're going to meet many 6-year-olds. Group B, there are going to be many 7-year-olds. In group C, there are many 8-year-olds. I mean, you don't just have a camp with one 6-year-old going into one group. So you will have a repeat of the ages. So it is not 1-to-1. And so we will say, no, not a function of age. Number 5, Elijah is keeping track of his baby sister's shoe size at different ages. Which statement about the relationship between Elijah's sister's shoe size, so shoe size will be X, and her age are true? And we can do age as Y, okay? So, and actually maybe we'll just switch that a little bit. So let's do X and Y this way. Let's do age as X, shoe size as Y. So let's say when her baby sister is 1-year-old, she's probably going to be wearing a size 2, or maybe 1, I guess. She could be a size 1. Yeah, size 1. And then when she is at age 1, she can also wear a size 2. It depends on the baby's feet. Some babies just have chunky feet. All 4 of my kiddos had little cube cheese size feet. They're just like cubes, you know, and they're fat and chubby. And so I guess if you're like 1-year-old, you can also go up a size and go into size 2, in which case the X will be repeating. So in this case, it is not a function. Although it doesn't say that, so it's not a function in the way that I described it. So you can go ahead and use C, which is a domain range are restricted to positive numbers. because she's not going to go back in age. I mean, she's not going to be negative 5 years old, and her shoe sizes are not going to decrease with age. So I will probably just select C. All right, you guys, this is it for week 5, Wednesday. I hope you guys have a safe week, and I hope to see you guys in person on Thursday. Take care.